It's mailbag time here on the Raiders Report, and I wouldn't be able to do today's show without our awesome sponsor, Autumn Abyss. If you haven't followed them on Instagram yet, please go ahead and do so at Autumn Abyss Gear. Now, every single Tuesday we go live, and all these questions, remember, are from Tuesday's show. So if you want to get featured, Super Chats or use hashtag Raiders. This first one's coming in, and it's a Super Chat from David. What's up, ma'am? We need to take advantage of DC's contract and shore up the O-line. Louis Riddick for GM and Byron Leftwich for head coach. Shout out to the nation. I like Louis Riddick actually as a GM, and personally I would take him over Mike Mayock. However, I believe the Raiders are going to stick with Mayock unless it's just unless the Raiders lose the next 5 games. In terms of Byron Leftwich, I like Leftwich because he's aggressive. He's in my top 5 in terms of Raiders head coach candidates. If you haven't seen that video yet, please go ahead and check it out. But I agree, you do need to take advantage of Carr's contract and build either around him or you wait for the salary cap to go up. You let him go. You save $19.9 million. You add even more free agents. You bring back guys like Casey Hayward, maybe Nicholas Morrow, and then invest in the offensive line. That's what you do. All right, we got Luke Atkinson, clean house on the coaching staff, but try to keep Gus Bradley. Our defense has been better than it has been in a while. You're not wrong in terms of it's been better than it has been in a while. However, that's not saying a lot. Here's the other issue. Gus Bradley's defense has not been all that great. I mean, since the bye week, you're giving up over 30 points per game. Yes, I think you played much better than what your numbers indicated against Cincinnati, but your red zone defense right now is ranked dead last in the NFL. When teams get in the red zone against the Raiders, they are scoring at 76%. That's dead last. Not that I don't like Gus. Not that I don't think Gus is doing a good job. He is. He is doing a good job. But if you're going to clean house, I think you really just got to clean house from top to bottom. So whoever the new head coach is going to bring in, he's more than likely going to bring in his new guy. So again, you got to be a little bit patient because it's going to be a brand new defensive scheme that the Raiders are going to have to learn. Let's go to Top Beats. What up, man? Yo, Mitch, there has been talk about Davis considering Bradley as a potential head coach. How many Chucky heads do you give it? 0. It's a 0. I saw some tweet or I saw an article about it. Gus Bradley is not going to be the head coach. It was literally just an article derived from somebody saying, hey, Gus Bradley was once a head coach. Gus Bradley, and there's certain coaches out there. Certain guys are built to be coordinators. Gus Bradley is built to be a defensive coordinator. He's not built to be a head coach. His head coaching days with Jacksonville was an absolute disaster. I mean, I believe he was 14-40 off the top of my head. Bottom line, it did not work out whatsoever. Let's go to Big Daddy Raider 69. This team always disappoints me, but I'll never stop rooting for them. And that's why I love the nation. Raider Nation, win, lose, or tie till I die. If you haven't yet, Big Daddy, I know you're a subscriber, but if you're like him, hit that sub button. Let's go to Dr. Evil Raider. Since the Raiders lost Drake, could they sign Theo Riddick? Could they sign Theo Riddick? Sure. But if you guys don't remember, when all the new COVID rules ended up coming out, Theo Riddick literally like in an hour was like, all right, sick, I'm done. I'm going to retire from the NFL. So I'm going to say no to Theo Riddick. But that doesn't totally, I guess, not answer your question of should they sign a running back. Like there's running backs out there that you could potentially bring in. So let me know down in the comments why for yes and for no. I'm going to go ahead and type my N for no for the simple fact of I have confidence in Jalen Richard. I think you just promote Trey Regis and you start pounding the rock a little bit more with Josh Jacobs. If you want to go ahead and get more running backs involved, you could potentially do that, but I personally don't see the Raiders doing it. Next one coming in from John Harley. If Carr is gone and we do trade for a quarterback, Watson or Wilson, do we take another chance with AB or Tuck Rule? Tuck that. Love the show. Antonio Brown will never be a Raider ever again, and I hope every person that sees that question, I appreciate it. But everyone should go ahead and type FAB. He's also got a lot of injury issues. He's got a lot of other stuff going on. And I would like to be able to root for certain dudes. I wouldn't be able to root for Antonio Brown. And really, it's about as simple as that. All right, this one's coming in from Adrian. I almost said Alabama, but it's Aldama. I don't know. Dude, love the show. They keep talking about using Mariota more, but they don't. This is kind of why after the Raiders lost to Washington, Derek Carr said, I think Ollie's doing a great job. This is also why I tweeted out post-game interviews and realistically interviews in general now in the NFL, unless it's like Aaron Rodgers, they're a waste of time because coaches just say what you want to hear. Players just say the same old dumb bullshit all the time. But I'm with you. if you're going to say you're going to use Mariota, put him in the game. But go figure, the 2 plays that you use him, sure, you didn't pick up a first down on one, but Mariota, the biggest play the Raiders had and the only play of over 30 yards, you got creative. You put Mariota in its shotgun, you threw him out at wide receiver, and then you hit Foster Moreau down the seam for a 34-yard gain. Go figure. When you get creative and use Mariota, good stuff happens. Let's go to Heather Spooner. Why don't we blitz more? I know you have said 98 and 91 get pressure, but look at last Sunday. Good things happened when we blitzed. You're right. I mean, good things did happen when we blitzed, but I also don't really think that the Raiders have the defense to be able to blitz all the time. And what do I mean by that? Gus Bradley's defenses are set up where you drop back, 7 guys in the box, and hopefully you can beat up front with your top dudes. But there's been a lot of holding calls that the Raiders haven't been getting. Max Crosby leads the NFL right now in pressures, has only 5 sacks. Why? Holding calls, the no call on Nate Hobbs this past week, but they called it on Crosby for roughing the passer. Blows my mind. Bradley's not going to change who he is in the defense he runs. It's what makes Bradley's defense as great as what it is, and also as frustrating, but I wouldn't anticipate the Raiders blitzing anymore. Now, if you guys haven't yet, please go ahead and follow our sponsor, Autumn Abyss, on Instagram, on IG, at Autumn Abyss Gear. If you're wondering what their gear is, the top-selling t-shirt and sweatshirt they have right now are this Marshawn Lynch one. If you want to go ahead and get more information on all their awesome deals, their link to their website is actually also on their Instagram account, so please go ahead and check it out. But send them a DM, give them a follow, tell them that, hey, you heard about me from the Raiders Report. They might even give you a discount. Hit up for Autumn Abyss on Instagram, at Autumn Abyss Gear, and get yourself some awesome Raiders gear for the holidays. This next Raiders question is coming in from WXVZ Sucks. Thoughts on Malcolm Koonce? Well, he finally got some playing time for the first time, and if you're drafted in the 3rd round, you better get more playing time than what he's gotten. But shout out to my dude. He was able to get a sack. I was impressed by his limited play. I understand that Divine Diablo had 11 tackles, but go watch the film. They picked apart Divine Diablo in that game, and I'm a little bit worried about his coverage ability. Hopefully he can continue to, get his feet wet and get more reps and be a little bit better, but Malcolm Koonce, I thought, played a halfway decent game. All right, Arlene Hallen, appreciate the super chat. I really believe they should start Mariota or use Carr with him in certain packages. I don't think that the Raiders should start Mariota, and that's just the way it is. I really, truly believe that Carr is a much, much better quarterback, and he can make a lot more of the throws. He can do a lot more than what Mariota can, and what Mariota's fun for those limited plays. Like, if you want to put him in for 5-10 snaps a game, that's when he's going to be the best. But, I mean, go back and look at Mariota's entire career. When teams get a little bit of film on him, he folds. He doesn't know exactly what to do. So I think you still start Carr, but Mariota has to be out on the field at least a little bit more because it's a creative play. It's something different. I'm saying 5-10 snaps a game, not just 2 like we saw last week. Juicehead 89. Carr had Cooper and Crabtree with the defense and an O-line for 3 seasons. Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes would have won with this defense. I think you mean would not have won with this defense for 8 years. And I don't totally disagree, but here's the other issue. For people who want to keep Derek Carr, you're going to have to give him a contract extension. You're going to have to pay him good money. Far too often, people don't talk about, well, you had Amari Cooper, you had Crabtree, you had a good defense and a really good offensive line. Why? You had money. You were able to afford more pieces around him. And since that big-time contract, you haven't really been able to do it nearly as much as what you have liked. Carr is a good quarterback. He needs talent around him. But if you're just going to sit here and say, okay, let's just give Carr a brand new deal and go back into the same tailspin, that's what doesn't make sense to me. This is why I'm okay with saving $19.9 million, moving on from D.C., then you have salary cap goes up, and you can build around a young rookie. That's what people need to start talking about. Let's go to the Grinch Jim. I know you said a few weeks ago you didn't want Lev Bell, but now with the Kenyan Drake injury, thoughts now? Yeah, my answer is going to remain the same. I just don't want Le'Veon Bell. He's a locker room cancer as far as I'm concerned. The Baltimore Ravens moved on from him. They decided to keep an injured Latavius Murray and Devonta Freeman over him. Can Bell catch the ball? Sure, but he has lost tons of steps. There's no doubt about it. So I'm going to be good on Le'Veon Bell. But if the Raiders go out and make a move for Lev Bell or another big-time running back, I mean, realistically, I think the most likely free agent running back that the Raiders would bring in is DeAndre Washington, but even that I don't see happening. But at the end of the day, we're going to keep you guys up to date. Let's get to 99,000 subs on the Raiders Report. We're about, 577 away. Shout out to me for doing the math on the fly. Shout out to the Math Report, youtube.com/Math Report. No, /Raiders Report. Hit that sub button, y'all. Let's go to Mr. Shelby 20. Please no more dink and dunk plays and Carr, wake the F up. Great Raiders content, Mitch. Yeah, the dink and dunk plays were definitely frustrating, but I also think that goes on Greg Olsen and Rich Bisaccia. But also Derek Carr missed plenty of throws in that game. He had opportunities to throw the ball down the field. He even had time to throw. I mean, we ripped on the Raiders' offensive line over the past 5 weeks. The Raiders right now, I believe according to PFF, have a top 10 offensive line. They've made major strides in terms of being able to improve, but Carr also made a lot of switches at the offensive line. It just looks like a quarterback that doesn't trust his OC, and it looks like an OC that has no idea what he's doing. It was a bad game plan and bad execution by DC from top to bottom. Super chat from Jack Levine. The call on Abram was atrocious. What was he supposed to do? There's also Carr needs to trust receivers more and get the ball downfield. I actually think the penalty on Jonathan Abrams, and if you guys haven't seen it yet, if you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. I put it on my Twitter at Mitchell Renz 365. I literally said it was one of the best defensive plays I've ever seen. He was getting blocked by an offensive lineman and made a tackle, and they threw a penalty flag on him for hitting the lineman low. But what do you want him to do? Just get blocked? It's an absolute joke, and it just shows how soft the NFL is turning. Let's go to Big Time Willie. We finished 11-6 because the run game balances the O. If the Raiders go 11-6, I will be very, very surprised big time. And if that ends up happening, I'm going to be one of the happiest SOBs out there. There's no doubt about that. Do I think it's going to happen? No, unfortunately I don't. But whether the Raiders lose the next 5 games, I'm still going to do my watch parties. I'm still going to do these shows, and I can guarantee you we're going to do videos literally every single day. Now, if I don't get to your question, as I see right now, we got about 870 people watching. If you haven't liked the video yet, please go ahead and do so. But hit me up on Instagram, slide in my DMs if you have a question. I know I got to catch up a little bit, but I'm probably going to do a lot of catching up here over the next few days. So hit me up on IG if you want to talk some Raiders or have some questions for me. What up, sickness_5152? Would Devontae Adams, want to play for the Raiders after this season? I've gone on the show and said if Derek Carr is the quarterback of the Raiders, I actually think your chances of getting Adams do go up. And just because Adams literally said it himself, it would be a dream come true to play for DC. However, there is still a possibility because you could either A, move on from Carr, save 19.9, make Devontae Adams the highest paid receiver in NFL history. That would make him very interested to come. And also, maybe you could convince another good quarterback, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, maybe get those guys to come over, and that would also make Adams want to be a Raider. What up, Valerie Lopez? Will the Raiders keep Rich Bisaccia as their special teams coordinator? I do not believe so. Again, when you bring in a new head coach, and the Raiders will bring in a new head coach after the season, unless you win out. And when I say win out, I literally mean win the Super Bowl from here on out. You're going to bring in a new head coach, and they usually bring in a brand new staff, which means it's going to be by Gus Bradley, by Bisaccia, and thank the Lord, goodbye, Greg Olsen. All right, Sir Lister of Smeg, would you rather have Peterson, Bieniemy, or Dable as head coach? It's a good question, and actually all 3 of these guys are in my John Gruden replacements video that I put out when the Raiders decided to move on from him. I have Brian Dable ranked the highest, but it's also really hard to be able to find a coach with a Super Bowl title like Peterson has, but I'm a big fan of Brian Dable personally, so that's the route I'm going to go. Now, it's almost Christmas time, and I'm super excited for the holidays. I actually just booked my rental car, and I am really, really stoked to be able to hang out with my family in Central PA. If anybody's going to be near the 570, hit me up. I'm going to be there from December 22nd to the 26th, because technically I got to fly home the 26th to do a Raiders watch party for the Raiders and Broncos game. But what's the better Christmas movie? Type CS for A Christmas Story, or I want you to type CB for A Charlie Brown Christmas. I'll be honest, I've actually seen Christmas Story more than A Charlie Brown Christmas, but most of the votes coming in right now are for A Christmas Story. Let me know down in the comments a better Christmas movie, CS or CB. Let's go to KC the Sledge Storyteller. Hey, Mitch, does a new head coach mean another round of growing pains and rebuilding with a quarterback and such? Potentially. I mean, it depends if the quarterback is good or not, and it means, what your other moves around him. Because, I mean, a lot of people didn't think the Chiefs would be that good. Mahomes was a good pick. Justin Herbert, it's been a good pick so far. But you've also seen Trevor Lawrence. That's been rough. Zach Wilson, that's been rough. Mac Jones has been pretty good. No doubt about that. Justin Fields has been up and down. It's not just about the rookie quarterback. It's about what you're doing around him. And I can't really give you an answer if it's going to be growing pains or not, because I don't know who the head coach is. I don't know who all the other coordinators are, and I don't know the moves that the Raiders end up making in the offseason. But there's a lot of different things that end up happening. But, yeah, you could be facing a rebuild. But I also wouldn't mind a rebuild because I think that's better than going 6-11 or having the same downfall the Raiders have had the past 3 seasons. I mean, if you have another collapse this year, I'm good with that. Let's go to Philip Rodriguez. How do you think D.D. played after the Littleton injury? So, Divine Diablo, he had 11 tackles, and Littleton was banged up, and literally he had a stinger, and I actually think there's also an opportunity there for him to get more playing time. He can tackle. You can see that he's athletic, but he struggled in coverage, and I was actually hoping for a little bit more out of him in coverage. There was a few plays where he gave up a lot of yards. He just got lost a little bit in zone, and remember, he played strong safety at Virginia Tech, so he's still trying to learn the linebacking position. All right, we got Big Daddy Raider 69. Appreciate the super chat. Is Bisaccia so reluctant to go for it on 4th down because he's a former special teams coach? He never goes for it. Kind of pisses me off. I don't know if that has any correlation, but the one play that really ticked me off this past week was it was like 4th and 4, I believe, and the Raiders had the ball at the Washington 48-yard line. That's an opportunity where you got to decide to go for it. I just think Bisaccia's play calling and his coaching is very similar to what you saw in that play. He's too afraid to make mistakes, and sometimes you got to take big time risks to get big time rewards, especially when your offense hasn't really played all that well. So I just want him to be a little bit more ballsy. What up, Isaac Hernandez? I love your channel. Best out there. Thank you for what you do for us. #Marine. Well, I'm glad that you watched the show, and, I want to say thanks to you. And, I appreciate everyone out there who supports and who's a part of our military, part of our Marines. And let me know who you got in the Army-Navy game. I'm curious on that one. But, no, man, thank you for everything that you do for our country.